These days, the word success has more than one meaning, but there does seem to be one thing that most people agree on when it comes to success, and that is that success is a result of not giving up. That's what I hope to share with you in this video. Stories of success that are both inspiring and clear about the path that most people who have become very successful have taken. Without any further delay, let's get into it. Stories of famous successful people who began with setbacks. Failure can't be avoided. It's annoying and it makes one feel bad. Though it's tempting to throw your hands up and walk away, take a moment to connect with these people who have been there and made it through. The first person on our list is Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone's story is one of the most inspiring. Before he became famous, he was basically an artist who couldn't pay his bills. It was a fight that Sylvester had to go through for a long time, 7 years to be exact. After struggling for more than 7 years against what seemed like impossible odds, he finally got his big break. He got a script he wrote in a 3-day burst of inspiration in front of 2 famous Hollywood directors. This was a turning point for Sylvester Stallone. After he negotiated the lead role in the movie that became known as Rocky, his career went through the roof. Those who always work for it will get there in the end without doubt. The next person on our list is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the best example of a self-made man. Arnold grew up in a place where drinking was common, giving up was the norm, and big dreams were made fun of. But Arnold knew he didn't want to live the traditional Austrian life his parents wanted for him, and that he wanted to move to America. So he came up with a plan to do well at bodybuilding and then use that to get into movies. After he had accomplished what he set out to do in bodybuilding, he decided to pursue the acting career he had always wanted. And sure enough, he went on to rule the movie business just as much as he ruled the world of bodybuilding. He went on to star in several blockbuster movies that made over $3 billion and gave him one of Hollywood's biggest net worths. Next up, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan wanted to be a great basketball player even when he was only a sophomore in high school, but he did something stupid and tried out for the varsity team. But things didn't work out for him, and he was kicked off the team. Jordan took this rejection hard because he had big hopes and dreams. He got up and gave it his all for the JV team. During the offseason, he worked out harder than anyone else and grew 4 inches. The next year, he tried out again for the varsity team, but this time he was successful. He even became the team's MVP, made the All-American team, and got a college scholarship. He is associated with a popular quote, "The key to success is failure." The story of Abraham Lincoln shouldn't be left out for any reason. Because of what he did for the USA, most of us know about this great man. The Emancipation Proclamation, which ended slavery, was a huge step in the right direction. But what most people don't know about Abraham Lincoln is that he has one of the best records for coming back from failure. In short, his story of success is a long list of failures and setbacks that make it hard to believe he was one of the best presidents of the United States. Lincoln did fail his way to success, and reading about his failures helps us understand the truth behind the Michael Jordan quote we talked about earlier, which is that failure is the key to success. Next up, J.K. Rowling. Early on, J.K. Rowling wanted to be a writer, but it would take her many years of hard work to achieve her goal of becoming a published author. Almost as soon as she decided to start writing down her ideas for her book, her mother died. But Rowling's life didn't stop going wrong there. A year after she got married, her marriage ended suddenly, leaving her without a job and barely able to get by on unemployment benefits. Rowling kept working on her book, even though it was hard. She did this by writing whenever she had a free moment while her child slept, until the day finally came when she finished her book. But then there's another problem. Her book was turned down by 12 different publishers, and she was almost ready to give up before her manuscript was finally accepted. And that's when J.K. Rowling's luck started to change. Right now, J.K. Rowling is one of the best-selling authors of all time. Her books have been translated into more than 80 languages and have sold more than 500 million copies. In the long run, it's clear that being persistent and patient pays off. The next inspiring success story is that of Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo grew up in a family that was always struggling to make ends meet. They couldn't afford to buy him a soccer ball so he could play in the streets. But Ronaldo did not let his environment dictate his destiny. No, he would find ways to play the sport he loved even without the ball. He would make a ball out of rags or just about anything else he could find so he could play. Cristiano eventually got so good at soccer that he had to give up everything and move over 500 miles away from his family at the age of 11 to train with a famous soccer academy. It's a good thing he did too, because it set him up to become one of the best players ever. Millions of soccer fans all over the world see him as the best player of all time. time. He is also the first soccer player to ever make more than $1 billion and has one of the highest net worths among professional athletes. And the story of Grant Cardone? Cardone didn't come from money. He's not a Hollywood star, and he doesn't have any amazing skills like writing scripts, running for office, or being a great athlete. But he does have something that we all have. He is determined to succeed. Grant Cardone hung out with bad people when he was young. He used drugs and became addicted to them. For more than a decade, he was stuck in a downward spiral. When Grant Cardone was 25, he decided to clean up his act. He got rid of all the bad people in his life, got clean, and got a job selling cars, which was the first job he could find. Cardone wanted to be the best salesman he could be, so he put a lot of time and money into improving himself. He read books and studied his craft and his industry. Cardone is now a well-known international businessman, speaker, and the owner of a $1.5 billion investment firm called Cardone Capital. He has also written If You're Not First, You're Last, which was a New York Times bestseller, as well as The 10 Times Rule and Sell or Be Sold, which won the Axiom Award. It only took Grant Cardone 5 years to change everything about his life. Imagine what 5 years could do for you if you had the right attitude and enough willpower. The next guy on our list is Paulo Coelho. Over 30 years ago, a book called The Alchemist, written by Paulo Coelho, came out, but few people paid attention to it. The first store that sold it told him that only one person had bought a copy. Even though it was sad to hear about the bad results, Coelho was still sure of his work, but Coelho brushed off that first loss. But it wasn't easy for him to find a new publisher, as he kept getting turned down. But he finally got a new publisher, and then his story went in a different direction. At first, he sold only 3,000 books, but the sales kept coming in little by little. Today, over 150 million copies of The Alchemist have been sold, and sales keep going up from year to year. The story of Paulo Coelho shows that if you really want something, the whole world will work together to help you make it happen. Wrapping it up, let's talk about the story of Tom Brady. Tom Brady's story is one of my favorites because it shows how hard work can pay off. Most athletes start getting ready for their sport in the 3rd grade, but Tom Brady didn't play his first game until he was in the 9th grade. After doing well in high school, Brady went on to play college football for the Michigan Wolverines. But Brady wasn't a sure thing to win at this level. He had to work for it. Every coach in the league did not give Brady nearly enough credit. In fact, Tom Brady was not the best quarterback, nor was he the best athlete, nor was he the most well-trained for the sport. He also didn't have the best numbers or the best way to do things. But Tom Brady was the most determined and had the most heart, so he pushed himself to become one of the best NFL players of all time through sheer willpower. That concludes today's video. If you found the video helpful, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. See you next time.